So this fight gets interesting coming in August 3rd. Bud versus Madrimov becomes a pseudo unification title belt fight. I'll explain that in a minute. The card is pretty decent. I'll explain that in a minute. And I'm going to play something for you in a few moments where Eddie Hearns is talking up Madrimov, and it seems to get under Bud Crawford's skin. But first, let's talk about the fact that now this match is a pseudo unification. Fundora, the 154 WBO champion, is in recess. If he does not come back or choose to fight the winner of this fight between Bud and Madrimov, then he forfeits his title. And whoever had won this match between Madrimov and Bud will not only have already be holding the WBA belt, but they will also have won the interim WBO and then be elevated to champion, because it's like a placeholder. So that's interesting all unto itself. That means that PBC can't really too much ice Bud and not allow him to get title shots as he did before. He will already have two, but that means he have to get the other two, and PBC may still have something to say about that. But Eddie Hearn was talking about Madrimov, and he was talking about how good he is, and how dangerous this is, and how when fighters start coming up in weight and trying to be great is when they start to slip maybe and hit their ceiling. And this may be that against Madrimov, according to Eddie Hearn. Listen to this.
There's going to be pressure, there's going to be power, and I'm looking forward to see how Terence will move to 54. Because sometimes I keep saying these great fighters will only get beat when they move too high up the divisions. I hope it's on 154. You know, he moves to 60, he moves to 60. You know,
if I can be golden again.
My heart's been broken before, and you know, you've done it. You broke my heart in Glasgow once. You broke my heart with Donga. So hopefully this time we can reverse the roles. But as I said, all the respect and credit, but make one thing clear. They know this guy is for real. What Bomac said is 100% right. At the moment, this is the best 154 pounder in the world.
So now you see that lit a fire in Crawford, right? Crawford took that personally. It bothered him. It bothers him that people still doubt him. In his mind, he's like, I should not be doubted any longer, right? I have now proven everything I need to prove to show you that I am a great fighter, that I am a dangerous fighter, and that this guy is no threat to me. Although Bud tried to say that that's the best 154 pounder right now. I mean, he has to do that, right? Because that is his opponent. He can't downplay his opponent. But we all know, I mean, listen. In my preparation for this video, researching Madrimov, he has not been brought on to 10-0 lightly. He's been pretty much matched rough and tough this entire time. So he has the experience, believe it or not. He's faced a lot of dangerous guys for a guy who's 10-0. If you look at his record, you would never, ever put a guy, no matter how talented, against that many few lost fighters, right? Or in high number wins. It's kind of insane when you look at his opponent's, like his resume for such a young fighter in the amount of fights he's had. But Eddie Hearn has a point. At 36, eventually, father time will hit. Some people say, well, he doesn't abuse his body. That does not matter. It helps. Doesn't matter. Guys are genetically prone to either age out quickly, from one night to another, without warning, or they can go like Bernard Hopkins, way into his 40s. Not everybody's Bernard. Eventually, just because it's natural to the fighter itself to age out. Madrimov seems to have decent footwork, a hammering punch. I don't know if he has a chin, but I know that Mean Machine was able to drop Bud, and Bud has been buzzed in the past by smaller fighters. Bud has only had 2 elite fighters in his career, one of which, Porter, some people say might have been done. And that was a close fight until the end. Spence had been inactive 17 months coming for a car accident. Says he had a broken rib, might have been weight drain. All of those things are asterisks. Whether you believe them or not, that's something that's in the it's in the zeitgeist now. Turki Al-Ashi says he has to beat Madrimov and he has to fight Boots, and then he'll consider working on Canelo. But he has to Here's the thing. Bud can't give you a boring performance against Madrimov, and he can't give you a boring performance against Jaron Ennis. If he gives you a 12-round stinker and another 12-round stinker, or a 12-round stinker on August 3rd, and he gets Jaron and he gets a bogus decision, Turkey Al-Rashid is going to not give you Canelo. There's not going to be anything there. And the pay-per-view numbers have to reflect, and Turkey Al-Rashid is smart by stacking that undercard, which we'll talk about in a second. Bud has to look spectacular for the next 2 fights. That means for the next year, he has to fight relentlessly. The problem is he'll be closer to 38 by the time he gets into Jaron Boots Ennis. I promise you. If he fights him this year or beginning of next year, like January or February, I'll be surprised. Honest to God, I'll be surprised. But Eddie Hearn got under his skin. That might have been the wrong move for Eddie, because that might have light a fire for him to prove a point, and he might just smoke out Madrimov, where he otherwise might not have. Or it can work against Bud when he's going to go out and try to blast this guy out and get caught. And even if he wins, if he gets caught, dropped, hurt, or looks vulnerable in this fight, it might help him get the Ennis fight, but it also might demystify him. This fight, as I said before in my last video, is the most dangerous fight and pivotal fight for Bud. He cannot lose it, and he cannot win it without being spectacular. So even if he wins, he might not do anything great for his legacy. And if he struggles to win, Jaron Ennis will gain confidence, and he'll definitely push for that fight, and he'll definitely move up to 154 to get it. And he will get it, because there'll be no other options for Bud at that point. And that might be the downfall of Bud. That's just how I see it. You don't have to agree with it. I'm not saying that's exactly what's going to happen, but as I sit here right now talking to you with all the options on the table and everything that's panning out, the way it's panning out, that's how I see it. Eddie Hearn might have said some things that could help him or hurt him. I'm leaning towards it's going to help Eddie Hearn's fighter a little more. Don't know how much, don't even know if that translates into a victory. But as the weeks go on and I see more of Bud and more of Madrimov in training and things like that, I'll give you a better analysis on how this fight is going to turn out. But now let's talk about this undercard. All right, so the undercard for this fight is kind of crazy. You have Tim Tszyu, which I thought, man, he's back already. That's crazy, but I don't remember. His cut was on his head, not necessarily anywhere that was crazy. So it should be healed by then. Versus Ortiz Jr. That's a good fight. Andy Ruiz Jr. versus Big Baby Miller. Now listen, this is, like Baby Miller said, it's the fast food fight, right? Burger King versus Taco Bell. If Andy Ruiz can keep his hands moving, he beats Big Baby Miller. Ruiz can't get tagged because he was hurt by Arreola in their last fight. And also, I think he was stunned a little bit by Ortiz. So he has to keep his hands moving. Back to Tszyu, I think he beats Ortiz Jr. In a good fight, though. But he beats Ortiz Jr. Cruz Valenzuela. Now, listen. Rayo, he's 1-2 in his last 3, I believe. He won his last one terrifically. He's a really good fighter. He's yet to take the next step to the next level. Isaac Cruz has the better experience coming into this fight. I think that's a very even fight, believe it or not. I think Isaac Cruz beats him in a close fight. I think he knocks him out late, right? Beats him in a close fight with a knockout late. Isaac Cruz. That's how I see that. More of a stoppage than a knockout. I don't think he has one-punch knockout power like that. I could be wrong. I haven't seen so much of Isaac Cruz to really tell you that, but that's how I feel right now. Morel and Kalidzic? I don't know how to say that name. Sorry if I'm butchering it. David Morel. He's special. Unless there's guys who have no idea who he is. If Cal can come in and do something spectacular, which could happen. But since I don't know anything about him, I'm not going to lie to you. I'm picking Morel. That kid looks like he's special. Then you got Moran and Cruz. That's a good fight. That could be fight of the night. It's two great prospects. I fully expect that to be a great fight. But sometimes when fighters are evenly matched, it could also go the other way. Boring. Right? But we're going to learn a lot about both guys that night. It's a great, great stacked fight. Card. I love the card, the undercard. The main event, while at first I was not impressed by it because I didn't know who Madrimov was, having sat back now for a few and thought about it, it's going to get interesting. Not because of who Madrimov is, but what dangers he may pose to an aging fighter like Bud Crawford. So that's my take on it. Eddie Hearn did his job, got under Crawford's skin. That's going to play into it as the weeks go on. So I think the build-up, we're going to get more excited for it. It's just not the fight we wanted, but it's the fight we got. So we got to look for the intricacies of what makes it special, and that's what I think makes it special. Let me know in the comments below. Do you think this is a special night? It is a special night, but do you think it's Bud that makes it special, or is the undercard is carrying this card? Let me know in the comments down below. Please like and subscribe, share, and comment. Till the next time, always, I appreciate the comments. I try to answer as many people as possible. I love the debates. Leave a comment down below. See you in the next one, and I'm out. Peace.